today we have had the pleasure of stumbling upon some what is commonly called honey mushrooms. These mushrooms aren't typically a beginner's mushroom, but I always kind of hate when people say that too, because we're all beginners at some point in time. If you are thinking about consuming honey mushrooms and you think you might have identified a honey mushroom, do your due diligence, do a spore print, and just really make sure, like as you can see, they're growing next to other crepitoid mushrooms here. These obviously you can tell they're not the same mushroom, but sometimes there are mushrooms that look similar to a honey mushroom, and especially after like a really good rain, because then they get a little wilty and their caps get a little waterlogged, and so some of the ID characteristics kind of all bleed into one. So again, just do your due diligence. Another thing with the honey mushroom is some people love them and some people love them but just can't tolerate them. They can be a little hard on the digestive system for some folks, giving them gastrointestinal upset. So just always start with a tiny amount. I'm really selling these honey mushrooms, aren't I? But having said all of that, I am super excited because these are in my top 5 favorite mushrooms to consume. There is, a good 5 or 6 different varieties of honey mushrooms that are edible. Armillaria, and then the second part of the scientific name would make up the different varieties, of which we will post on the screen for you because I cannot pronounce it. So this particular honey mushroom, they do typically grow in clusters, and so I'm holding them all together here, but before I cut them, they were clustered together just like this. And usually you're gonna find honey mushrooms, as you can see here, they are conjoined at the base of their stems. I am gonna take them apart here so we can go over, and you can see that they're still kind of conjoined there. Go over some of what you're gonna be looking for. So this little guy is a young one, and you can tell here it's got like the little cobwebby veil, and as that cap grows and expands, that veil is going to break open, but it's going to leave what's called a ring on the stem. And so for larger honey mushrooms, one of the IDing characteristics is you will see that ring on the stem. Now here with the larger one, you can see that cobwebby veil is starting to break open. And then what you'll see there, some really pretty white gills. And then also, when you do your due diligence to know what kind of a mushroom you have, you're gonna take a spore print. And the honey mushroom leaves like a white to a buff spore print. And then I love how somebody described the caps as kind of that 5 o'clock shadow. There's just little, I don't know if you want to call them hairs or fine little granular speckles, but the caps of honey mushrooms have those as well. And then the honey mushroom is a really clean mushroom, usually not any bugs in there. And to me, in my opinion, it more closely resembles like the button mushrooms that you can get from a grocery store, as far as taste as well. So, the honey mushroom.